passed since I left the town of Tristram behind me. Since then, I've tried to forget the terrors I beheld beneath the cold earth, and the twisted nightmares that have haunted my every waking moment. There's something dark within me now.
Coming up on GameSpot TV's Special Horror Edition. The truth is out there. We explore the world of the extraterrestrials in gaming. And bad guys have more fun. We pick our favorite villains of all time.
Welcome back. Well, aliens have been with us since the beginning of gaming, and the relationship has been less than amicable, with us trying to obliterate them before they have the chance to harvest our bodies. So let's take a look at those who live among us.
Let's face it, the Space Invaders didn't have a good plan. Moving from right to left in formation wasn't a terribly sophisticated strategy, but it did get the ball rolling for a series of attempts to rid Earth of us and pave the way for extraterrestrial happiness. Yep, the boys over at SETI really have found their jobs to be easier since way back in '78 when the aliens started coming to us. Defense systems were established like XCOM, a multinational group of heroic types who recognized the need to defend the Earth from organized space strangers. With the remarkable scientific resources, XCOM was able to research enough about the invaders to provide proper assistance to the troops, who rid them from farmlands everywhere. And Earth raised a glass to our heroes and breathed a sigh of relief for a short time. Yep, things only got more complicated when the invasion from beyond started. Now, like their predecessors, these guys were invading, but this time they were from beyond, you see? So the necessary steps were taken. Get into a ship and shoot down the unfriendly space buddies while rescuing the always useful scientists. Notice also the change from the traditional invader thumping sound to the more effective buzzing that can annoy humans into servitude. Now, while the alien threat has traditionally been focused on our big blue marble, actually, all otherworldly misanthropes dislike humans equally, no matter where they are. So going into space has proved problematical. Going aboard the Von Braun sounds like good fun. You get to check out the furthest reaches of space on a ship that's going faster than light. That's really, really fast, you know.
It's a great day for mankind.
But wouldn't you know, people seem to be dead everywhere, and mutants with bad attitudes appear to be plentiful. There are ways to avoid this misfortune.
Get away.
A. Don't go in for space travel involving callous mega-corporations. B. Don't go in for space travel with mega-corporations that have a history of designing homicidal computer programs.
Security forces have been alerted to your presence.
And C. Don't go in for space travel. Unfortunately, this information didn't reach the Marines, who traveled way too far into space and found some mucus-covered nasties with a real grudge against humanity. Apparently, we taste pretty good and offer fertile tissue for breeding. This is doubly unfortunate when you consider that they have a knack for climbing walls and can move with the speed of a rocket. So if you happen to have forgotten not to go into deep space, then at least remember to bring guns. Lots of them. Though, most importantly, keep in mind that if it isn't broke, don't try to go and fix it.
Roger that. Let's run like hell.
When your friend calls you to say, hey, do you want to check out my new device to travel through space and time? Tell them no, especially if they work for top-secret government organizations. This has happened before, and it's usually left up to one scientist guy to save the entire planet from an unpleasant invasion. Who knows how many more of these talented individuals are left? But in the end, the tried and true is typically found to be the best. The Space Invaders have returned with nicer ships, but still retain that same good old-fashioned distaste for carbon-based biped. You'd think that after trying all this time, when they finally do take over, they'll feel right at home.
Well, games have always been populated with nasty individuals, and in honor of these nefarious types, we put together a look at some of our favorite game villains.
Avast there, you lubbers! Set sail for my stronghold on Monkey Island.
The battle of good versus evil has been a constant in electronic gaming. Conflict creates drama. What better way to have conflict than to have two characters with diametrically opposing views? In the beginning, end-level bosses like Bowser from the Mario series and M. Bison from the Street Fighter series were the norm. You saw them at the beginning of a game, but more often than not, you wouldn't see them until the very end with the final confrontation.
My favorite game villain is probably Donkey Kong, and I mean he's since reformed and gone over to the hero side. But back in the original Donkey Kong, it was just he was the best.
Since then, villains have become more complex.
Mankind, do I not bleed?
One of my favorite villains is probably Kane from Command and Conquer. He wasn't particularly scary, but he was very charismatic. He was evil, but yet you fighting against him, you still believed in his cause.
It is my destiny to lead the way for all mankind.
Mankind has forgotten you, Cain.
My favorite game villain is the Guardian from the Ultima games. There's a lot of mystery around him, and he really runs a thin line between being kind of a cliched villain and actually being a really effective evil presence.
My favorite game villain is Shodan from the System Shock games. Shodan is just really evil.
You will learn more about pain than you ever wanted to know.
I know your plan, Ripburger. You're waiting for me to die so you can take over my company.
That's horrible.
My favorite game villain by far is the Purple Tentacle in LucasArts' Day of the Tentacle. Because he was a little purple guy about this high, he was really just one little tentacle of a octopus, and he had delusions of ruling the world.
I feel like I could take on the world.
LucasArts can always be counted on for interesting villains and criminal masterminds. From the pirate LeChuck in the Monkey Island series to Adrian Ripburger in Full Throttle. LucasArts always has memorable villains.
Suffering sailors, 'tis good to be dead!
Villains may come in all shapes and sizes, but they have to be believable.
I think villains should be kind of human for them to be at their most effective. I think they need to talk a lot and, explain themselves a little bit.
You are indeed a fool to want Britannia. Once I have finished with it.
There has to be something in the villain, I think, that you can relate to as well. Some trace of their former humanity, something that they're scarier because it could be you.
So the bottom line is, being the good guy isn't bad. You get to save the world and be a hero. But let's face facts, villains have all the fun.
If you have a favorite game villain, let us know via email at GameSpot@ZDTV.com.
Coming up next on GameSpot TV Special Horror Edition, our Fright Fest continues with a look at the psychology of game horror. Don't watch it alone.
This guy's been eviscerated. Something tore his intestines straight out.